Today's video is going to be a little bit different since for the past 2 weeks, Ollie and I have been collaborating together to host a community event for our subscribers to see who can create the most creative 404 page. And so now I'm going to review the submissions, and it's amazing to see people all over the world submitting their work. And it's honestly very exciting. And Ollie's made his video on his side already. So it's my turn now, and for my review, I'm gonna use three criteria. One is the design, second is creativity, and the third is the technical aspect of the work itself. So by the end of this video, I'll have my top three as well. Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so let's go with the first one here, which is the one I made. And I struggled with this one quite a bit since I was new to 3D and React 3 Fiber. So I made this with Blender and React 3 Fiber. So the concept is basically just having these abstract objects floating around. So I guess the theme I was going here is this feeling of space and time. So to achieve that, I kind of like make this objects float around and have like directional lights and ambient lights and spotlights kind of just reflecting like this cinematic feeling that reflecting on the objects itself. So and then I kind of tied down the entire piece together with like a blur in the background to kind of accentuate that cinematic feel, and also like grain on the top to add some texture to the work itself. So I'm planning to make a process video on this. So stay tuned for that as well. But that's pretty much it. Next up, Ollie's my man. Honestly, the first impression here, it's amazing, especially with the dispersion effect that you have here. And one other thing that, in terms of the technical aspect, is that this thing loads super fast, and it loads super fast, and it's like super cool as well. So I love like the entire package that you have here, especially with the dispersion as well. I love it, especially with the glass floating around, and once it kind of goes on top of the 404, it kind of distorts and disperses the numbers, and which is super cool as well. And another minor detail that I also noticed is that the glasses have like reflections every time it kind of rotates a little bit, so that's also super cool and super clean. I think the entire execution itself is amazing, man. Impressive work as always. Learning a lot from you, and you also have like a lot of adjustments here. You can play around with it, which is pretty cool. But that's Ollie's work. Yep, that's it. All right, so that's the third one we have here. Pretty minimal, which is my style. Seems like you lost your way. Life. Okay, I didn't expect that. Every time you click on it, you can draw as well. So this is super cool. I totally didn't expect this. This is super cool, and the more you do it, it changes the color as well. It kind of reminds me of the Apple Halo, where it kind of goes like, if you know, you know. But still, I love the design here. I love the creativity. The design is very minimal. I like the hierarchy that you have here. The only thing that I would criticize is maybe make it on move, like the effect here. Make it on mouse move rather than on mouse enter, or on mouse click. So that way, when the users go on the website, they're immediately presented with this effect, rather than having them to kind of like find out how or like this even exists. But that's pretty much it. Good work, man. Next up, this next one is, honestly, I'm pretty taken aback. Very impressive in terms of the design. It's very nostalgic, and especially with the Windows 98 OS that you have here, and it's pretty cool, man. It's literally exactly like the same as the OS system. It's amazing. You can also interact with this. Damn, that's super cool. Like almost exactly. Oh, that redirects to his repo. But this is super cool. The buttons are exactly. It feels the same as the Windows 98. But I guess the overall design is super solid, and especially it looks exactly as the Windows 98 OS. The creativity here is at peak, man. I love this. I think in terms of the creativity, you're on point, man. I love this. And in technical aspects, nothing too like crazy, but just the entire execution and the creative aspect behind it makes it so good. I like it, man. Alright, next up. So the next one we have here is from Hikari, and he's a pretty active member on Ollie's Discord. So yeah, let's see what you did, man. Hi Hikari, what are you doing here? Get lost. It's such a coincidence that there's actually quite a few people doing 3D, including me and Ollie, and including Hikari as well. So yeah, first of all, the first impression, super nice. I think I really like the lighting that you have here. It actually really simulates like a room that you have. I think you mentioned that you kind of want to make it a back room vibe kind of thing. So I kind of see it there, especially with like the beginning sequence where you like look around, like where the hell am I? Yeah, honestly, I like that. I like the creative aspect of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And in terms of design, not much comments on it. And I think in terms of topography, there's nothing wrong with it either. No complaints. And I think in terms of the technical aspect, one thing I would love is being able to interact with the 4 elements here. Maybe knock them over or something. That would make it more kind of enjoyable to enjoy the 4 page, if you know what I mean. But yeah, love the 3D stuff. Moving on. All right, so the next one we have here is from Rafia. Yeah, so the first of all, initial impression, the design once again is very minimalistic, which I like. There's nothing wrong with minimalism. It's amazing. And yeah, it seems like you also integrate like the dinosaur game from Google here. And yeah, let's give it a try. The jumping is a little bit iffy. It's not similar to the Google's error page, but hey man, love the creative aspect that you include this. So it's like a lot of interactive element into it. So like when your user kind of get lost, they can just play around in this 404 page, which is pretty cool. Maybe get a button for them to go back instead of playing this. But yeah, still, I love the dinosaur game that you implemented here, and also like the graphics that you have in the background, which is pretty cool as well. Maybe it would have been nice to have more kind of animations into this overall piece right here. And I guess in terms of the creative aspect, it would have been nice if you, instead of copying directly from Google, maybe you could have implemented something else of your own. But since it was like a 14 days challenge, you didn't have that much time, so this would work too. But yeah, awesome work. All right, so in the next one, it seems like we got another 3D on our hands here. And yeah, in first impressions, yeah, the 3D scene is super cool. It actually feels like I'm in a game, and it seems like he's taking the creative direction of like a kind of like a fantasy game where you're in like your main character and there's the narrator, which is pretty cool. I like the creative aspect behind it, and I like the technical aspect in terms of how you can like interact, like move the camera around as you move the mouse around, which is cool. But yeah, in terms of design, it would be nice if the type here was a little bit, the font size a little bit smaller because it's a little bit too big on my taste, but it's fine. And yeah, you can also click home here, kind of exit the cave. Yeah, I cannot. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, and then I exit the cave, and I'm gonna give you home. Yeah, see the Rick Astley reference there. It's pretty cool. I really like the 3D world that you have here. Love the 3D, man. All right, so the next word we have here is from Artimum. First of all, the first impression is it seems like he added a lot of physics here using Matter.js, I believe. But yeah, I think even though it's very simple, you just kind of implement the library itself. But the fact that it's interactive makes it so much better than just having something static. That's what I believe in, at least in a 404 page. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I love how like the balls can also like interact with the 404 numbers itself, which is pretty cool, man. But yeah, the only thing I would criticize is that it would be nice if you could add a little bit more physics into this. So it's like, you know how I'm moving my mouse really fast, but it's like it doesn't fly all over the place, which is something I would prefer when having something like this. And also like in terms of the design, maybe play around with different sizes of the balls so it's like more, varied and more diverse. But yeah, it's very simple, but it does the work. Yeah, so the next one we have here from Lizardo. First impression, very unique layout. It's different from the ones that I've seen, especially with this image here and like the section here. Overall, I like the minimal design, and I like the creative idea behind it. I see what your approach is. Basically, you have like a gray screen, and you kind of like peel off the paper, and you can see the code behind it. So I like the creative aspect behind it. My only kind of criticism behind the 404 page here is maybe add some images here. It kind of looks, unfinished in a way. Maybe it's your intention to have the unfinished feel, but maybe not for my case. It just kind of feels lacking something. So, yeah, but I like the image that you did here. So, yeah, cool stuff. Very minimal. All right, so next one is from Pavan. So my initial impression is that it definitely feels super familiar. If you know, you know. Yeah, so like the loading screen is from Dallas Snellenberg's portfolio, and it seems like the button interaction here too. But yeah, I think in terms of design, it's super minimal once again. Honestly, there's not much to talk about in terms of the design. And think in terms of creativity, maybe it would be nice if you implement your own actual interactions rather than just copying directly from Dennis's portfolio. So yeah, my only criticism is that maybe implement your own thing rather than just directly translating the others' work. So yeah, I guess in terms of technical aspect, it's good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And I also like the Apple monitor, and you animated it as well. So that's nice. All right, next up, another 3D. I'm telling you, it's a trend among these challenges. So super impressive, especially with all the objects going around here, especially with the foreground. Super cool. I actually wanted to do something similar as well. Yeah, and then they also have like these orbs with different materials and different kind of shaders as well, which is super cool. Yeah, and honestly, like the creative aspect behind this, where it's like space, it's on point, to be honest. It's super nice, especially with this glitter, this like star. That's cool, man. And the displacement animation as well, which is super cool. But yeah, I love the overall vibe. It's amazing. And then in terms of the technical aspect, honestly, not much comment on it. I think it takes a lot of time for this as well. So yeah, big kudos to that. And yeah, I also like this kind of star in the middle ground here. Yeah, but I love the creativity. I love the space theme that you have here. And I guess my only criticism is that maybe consider like removing these orbs, because I feel like it's a little bit too much. Because I kind of want at the same time to embrace and appreciate the background that we have here. So it's like more space to breathe. If you have these stars in the background, like this blinking stars, if you pay attention to it, yeah, so like removing these orbs will make it so much better in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, next up here. First of all, super cool loading animations, kind of loading Matrix vibes. Damn it, this is cool. I'm not sure how do you do this effect in the background, but that's super cool, man. Yeah, it really matches the Matrix vibes, especially with this background that you have going on here. And the text also is also on theme with the Matrix. I guess my only criticism is maybe play around with the typography more, maybe squeeze down the 4 letter spacing, because it's my taste to make it a little more tight. But yeah, and also the button as well, make the same typeface as the same as this one. The page not found in like this text below, but overall, I really like the background, and especially like this loading, where you kind of load in the OS. But yeah, that's cool. Nice execution. Nice creativity as well. Cool stuff. All right, so the next one we have here, once again, very minimal, but I can see the creative direction in terms of the Blu-ray, DVD bouncing around on the TV, which is cool. I love it. I guess my only kind of creative improvement would be maybe change the color of the bouncing. Every time it bounces, it changes the color, similar to what you see on the TV. Every time it bounces, it changes the color, I think, or not. But I do know that it changes the color. And then the other thing is like every time it bounces, kind of flashes a bit, which is a little bit weird. but maybe that's your intention. But still, overall, I like the creative aspect of the bouncing Blu-ray TV kind of thing here, and the design is very simple. So yeah, that's cool. Next up. So the next one we have here is from Lokesh, and given the initial impression that I have as the designer part of me, everything right now. There's a lot of things going on, and especially with the background and the colors of the text and the logo. I'm just not sure where to look at, but I feel like I really appreciate the creative direction that you're trying to approach here, having a lot of colors, but the contrast is just a little bit hard to see. But yeah, I guess overall good effort. And another thing I would also give advice on is maybe add spacing to between these texts so it's a little bit more breathable in terms of spacing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think you can explore Cosmos here, which is his GitHub. Yeah, check out his GitHub. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so next we have Pamz, and yeah, honestly, I like their interactivity. And first of all, the design is very minimal, but I still appreciate how you have this borders here, so it's not like full screen. So I like the design aspect of that, and especially with the like kind of overlapping and 04 here, which is nice. Adds a little bit of character in it and personality. Yeah, I think also like the creative aspect of like scaring your users, like redirecting to the dark web, which is pretty cool, which is pretty neat. Yeah, I really like the interactivity there, especially with the cancel button. You can't really cancel it, which it's nice. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but I think overall it's pretty solid. I like the humor you have in there. So yeah, moving on. All right, so the next one we have here is from Diego. I've seen him around on my channel and Ollie's channel. So yeah, shout out to you, man. And I think he also has YouTube and YouTube as well. So make sure to check him out. So I guess the initial impression here, I guess this is a whiteboard, and you kind of draw 404 on it, I guess. But the initial impression, the design is very simple. But I guess maybe it would be nice if you could make something a little bit more out of the box, something more interactive. But yeah, I think the simplicity is nice too as well. I guess the other thing as well is I can see your footer, so maybe make it full screen as well, so that way the 404 is accompanying the entire screen. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Moving on. All right, so this is the last one of the day here. Peeping Dom, that's the name of the website. So it seems like we have masking here, which is cool. You can see the text here. Page not available. Either make a mistake. Trying Hacker Man. Have the spotlight. Yes, no, lost the peeping. Oh, pretty cool. It's masking. The design is pretty minimal once again, but yeah, the masking is really cool. Privacy's first cursor spotlight. Obviously, you can explore more. But yeah, I like the concept of it. It's very similar to Ming's. Let me get back here. Ming's design portfolio. It's very similar where you kind of mask the contents here, but it's pretty cool. And the only thing I would kind of improve is maybe add some spring animation to the cursor here, so it's a little bit more smooth. And the other thing is maybe make the text a little bit bigger, or reduce the text and increase the text size so it's more readable. But yeah, awesome. That's pretty much it. All right, so that's all the submissions, and now it's time to kind of rate or like place our submissions into third place, second place, and first place. So third place, I'll probably give it to Vikas, due to just the simple, although it's very simple, but I really like the kind of the visual aesthetic of it, because it really reminds me of Apple's Hello thing. So I just really like that, and yeah, so overall, I really like this interactivity. It feels like I can play around on the 404 page, like most of it, like literally for like 5 minutes or even 10 minutes, just draw around. And the fact that the color also changes, which makes it also much more interactive as well, and much more like visually engaging. So I really like that, and it just makes me feel like I'm a kid again, just drawing on the whiteboard, playing around. But yeah, I like this one, and I think it really deserves the third place for this one. And then for second place, it has to go to Hussein from Morocco. And honestly, this one is amazing. And just the fact the execution of the Windows 98 OS, it makes it feel so nostalgic and also like very retro. Like the vibes are immaculate. So yeah, I really like it. Especially it looks so similar to the Windows 98. It's just like it's the fact that it's cool. Like it feels like you're emulating like this OS on the web, which is really cool. And there's also like interactivity with it, which is makes it even feel even much more engaging, especially as a 404 page. But yeah, I think this 404 page definitely deserves the second place. And the first place, I have to give it to Orewa, especially with how well put together it is. And just the overall feel, the overall package of space and the theme of space. So I think this is really well executed. And yeah, I honestly love the work that you have right here. And especially being new to 3D, this is super mesmerizing. So I know there's a little bit bias there, but yeah, this is, I think in my heart, this deserves the first place. So yeah, I also like the topography that you have here. Yeah, so overall, super solid. So thank you everyone who has participated in this challenge. It's been amazing to review all your submissions. And hopefully for the next submissions, we'll have even more creative works. And yeah, Ollie and I were planning to make these challenges an ongoing long-term kind of thing. So if you haven't participated, no worries, because we're going to host more events further down the line. So yeah, stay tuned for it. And thanks for sticking around. See ya.